In this tutorial, we're going to design an analog clock as is displayed here. It shows you the hour, minutes, and seconds, and as you can see, the second digit is constantly changing, and we're going to design the whole thing in this tutorial. So let's start by starting a new project. Let's call it analog clock version 1. The reason I'm saying version 1 because in future tutorial we are going to modify this analog clock to be more useful. So the screen is blank right now. I have to change the title, so I'm going to go and change to analog clock open bracket version 1.0. So this is going to be our first version of the analog clock. I have to have the text or the time in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop 3 horizontal arrangement. I'm going to make sure the height of each one of them is 33%. So height, and then I'm going to type 33%. The next one, height 33%, and the last one, height to be 33%. The width I want to be the parent, so I'm going to change the width to parents. Now I want the background of all of them to be black, so click the first one, background color to be black. The next one, background color to be black, and background color to be black. In the middle one, I want to have a label to fill the whole width and also the height. So I'm going to go to user interface, drag and drop label. First, I have to change the text color to be white. And I want to change the font size to be big enough, something like 75. And also I want to be bold. So font bold. Now I'm going to type something like, let's say 052237. It's just a number, just to see how it fits. You can see it fits here. Now the width of the label I want to be fill parent. I want the height of the label to be fill parent, and also I want it to be centered. So I click on text alignment here and click center. Now it's going to show me the text right in the middle. Let's see how it looks in our emulator. You can see that in our emulator the text appears to be okay. Now since the time has to change constantly, I need a new block called clock. Again, this clock one is invisible and is going to keep track of the time for us. Now, when you drag and drop the clock, there is a timer interval which already set to 1000 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds is equal to 1 second. This means the clock is going to fire every second. And every second I can read the hour, the minute, and the second, and I can change the text in the label to show the current time. Now let's go ahead and design our clock. First, I have to keep track of the time, so I'm going to introduce a new variable. Let's call it str. I'm going to initialize it to blank. I also need another variable to keep track of the time, meaning the hour, minute, and second. So I'm going to call this one temp. And initially, I'm going to set the value to be 0. Now we have to update the text on the label every second. So I need to go to clock 1, and you can see this one, it says when clock 1 the timer. This is when the timer fires, meaning after 1 second this block is going to be called. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get the current time and extract the hour from the current time. To do that one, I need to go to clock 1, and then down here it says call clock1.hour and then instant. Now the instant is the time at the moment. So again, I go to clock 1. I will go down and it says clock 1 now. This means the current time. Now when I get the current hour, I have to check to see if it's less than or equal to 9, meaning 1 digit. If it is, then I have to append 0 to my hour. That's why I am using temp here. So I'm going to say set temp to the current hour. Then I have to use an if condition. So I'm going to go to control, and then I'm going to drag and drop an if. I need an else here because if the hour is less than or equal to 9, I have to do something, otherwise I have to do something else. And here I'm going to set the str. So I'm going to say set str. First I'm going to check to see if hour is less than or equal to 9. So I need this block. I'm going to say less than or equal to 9. So I duplicate this one and I say 9 here, and this is the value for temp. The temp is currently has the hour, the current hour. So if the current hour is less than or equal to 9, I want str to be 0 plus the hour. So I need a join operator. So I'm going to say join 0 plus temp. What about if hour is greater than 9, let's say 10, 11? So I don't need to add the 0 before it. So I'm going to say duplicate here. I take 0 out. I take join out. And I just put temp here. This one is going to show me the hour. I have to do exactly the same thing for minute. So I duplicate this one. I put this one here, I duplicate this one and I put it here. But this one, I don't want the hour. I need the minute. So I go down again and I'm going to get the minute instant. So I'm going to put this one here. This is garbage now, and then I put this one here. So now temp is going to have the minute of the current time. Now I'm going to say if temp is less than or equal to 9, then I'm going to say add 0 before temp, before the minute. Otherwise, str is global temp. There is a mistake here, is this one. This one is okay because we know that initially temp is blank, so there is no need for join here. I just say, str is equal to the hour. But here, since str has the hour, I have to join it to the previous temp. So I'm going to say duplicate the previous temp. So it's going to be the previous str to the new temp. But one thing I have forgotten is the colon between minute and hour. So I'm going to add a socket in between here, and then I'm going to put colon. Now the same thing is going to be here now. So I'm going to take this one out, duplicate it, and put it back here. If the minute is less than or equal to 9, I get the previous str which had the hour. Then I add a colon and then a 0 beside it. So colon 0, and then I put the minute here. If the minute is greater than 9, then I'm going to get the previous str which had hour, put a colon, and then add the minute right after it. Now I'm going to do the last part, which is duplicate this one again to get the second. So I'm going to go to clock, and this time I want clock 1, that's second. So I take this one out, garbage here, and put the second. So I get the second. Now I duplicate the whole thing here. Again, I'm going to say if the second is less than or equal to 9, then get the previous str which has the hour, colon, and the minute, join the second, join a colon 0 and then the current second. Otherwise, if the second is greater than 9, get the previous str, add a colon beside it, and then the current second. Now, one last thing that we need is that we have to update label with the value of str. So to do that one, the name is label 1, so let's go and change the name to current time. Remember, always have the name of these components to something which makes sense. So I go down, current time, I set current time text to be equal to global str. And that's it. So we can now go and check the result. You can see that hour, minute, and the second. Now everything changed to the new